Can you serve both God and money? Or does chasing one automatically mean losing the other? This is one of the biggest tensions in business, and how you handle it determines whether your success brings peace or pressure. Because let's be honest, we all want to grow. We want to build something meaningful, provide for our families, and create freedom. But in the process, money can quietly slip from being a tool to becoming the target. And when that happens, we start serving the wrong master without even realizing it. In this video, we're going to break down the truth about faith and finance, how to build your business that's both profitable and peaceful. You're going to learn how to recognize when money has quietly taken the driver's seat, how to shift from ownership to stewardship, partner with God in your business, and how to use wealth as a tool for impact, not your identity. Because when you get this right, your business becomes more than just a means to make money. It becomes a way to magnify God. My name's Kyle White. I build businesses, I've owned over 100 properties, and I coach entrepreneurs, many of who are successful on paper, but empty in peace. And through it all, I've learned that God doesn't have a problem with profit. He just refuses to let it replace him as the purpose. And now really quick, before we dive in, if you want to build a business that grows with peace and purpose, I put together a free resource for you called the 12 Laws of Faith-Driven Success. It's a short, powerful guide that shows you how to grow your business God's way with clarity, peace, and focus. You can grab a copy of it. There's a free link in the description. All right, let's dive into this. Who's really leading your business? Let's start here because this is where most people get stuck without realizing it. You can be praying for God to bless your business while still letting money call the shots. And that's not a judgment. It's a reality that we all wrestle with. Money is loud. It's measurable. It gives instant feedback. And if you're not careful, it starts shaping your decisions faster than your faith does. You see a big opportunity, you say, I have to have it. The numbers make sense. But deep down, you never stop to ask yourself, does this align with my calling? You may push to hit a revenue goal, not because God told you to, but because comparison did. You work long nights, not because you're being obedient, but because you're afraid to fall behind. And it's subtle, because everything still looks good. But here's the dangerous part. When money becomes your master, your peace disappears, no matter how much money you make. In Matthew 6:24, Jesus said it straight. He said, no one can serve two masters. You'll hate one and love the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Now that verse is not about poverty. It's about priorities. It's not saying you can't make money. I believe God wants you to be successful. I truly believe that. But it is saying you can't let money make your decisions. Money's meant to serve your mission, not to steer it. But here's how it happens to most business owners. It starts really small. You make one decision based purely on profit, then another based on fear, then another to keep the momentum going. And before long, your metrics become your master. But let's be clear about something. The Bible never said that money is evil. It says the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Why? Because love controls your behavior. Whatever you love most leads you the most. So how do you know if money is taking the lead? Here are 3 signs that your business might be subtly serving the wrong master. Number 1, your mood rises and falls with your revenue. When a deal closes, you're super excited, but when it falls through, you spiral downward. That's a sign that money is determining your peace instead of God's presence. Number 2, you're driven by pressure, not by your purpose. You keep pushing, but it's not from excitement, it's from fear. Fear of losing momentum, fear of disappointing people, fear of scarcity. When fear fuels your work, faith has taken a backseat. And number 3, you've stopped asking God before you make decisions. You trust your spreadsheets more than your spirit. And listen, spreadsheets are awesome, but they make terrible saviors. Now, if you're in agreement with me right now, that's not shame, that's awareness. And awareness is the first step to alignment. Because here's the truth. You can't be spirit-led and money-driven at the same time. So what do you do when you realize money's been leading you? You realign the order. You stop trying to get God to bless your business plan, and you start asking him to build your business plan with you. Let every morning start with surrender. Lord, I want to honor you with how I lead, how I earn, and how I give. Show me what's yours. When God is in charge of your business, you stop chasing and start creating from peace. Because money is not evil. It's a servant. When you keep it in its place, it becomes a powerful tool for impact. All right, so now once you know who's leading your business, the next step is understanding your role in it. And this one truth will set you free. You don't own your business. You manage God's business. Now, I know that sounds strange. You're the one who built it. You're the one who stayed up late, took the risk, carried the pressure. You signed the lease, you hired the people, you closed the deals. But here's the truth. You may own it legally, but spiritually, you're just the manager. Because the moment you start seeing your business as yours, you start carrying weight that was never meant to be on your shoulders as a Christian. That's when anxiety creeps in. That's when you wake up at 3 a.m. thinking about your payroll, your cash flow, or your client retention. You start living like the whole outcome depends on you, and that is exhausting. When you remember the business ultimately belongs to God, and you simply are stewarding what he's entrusted to you, everything is going to change within your mindset. Psalm 21:4 says, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. That includes your company, your income, your influence. It all belongs to him, and we need to realize that. Because your job isn't to own it, it's to optimize it. To make decisions that reflect his character and advance his kingdom through the work of your hands. When you live from that place, the stress starts to lift. You stop gripping the steering wheel so tightly, and you start realizing you're not alone in leading this thing. Think about it like this. Imagine you're managing a company for somebody else. You'd be diligent, you'd care deeply about the business, but you wouldn't panic every time something went wrong. You'd simply go to the owner, explain the situation, and ask for direction. That's exactly how we're meant to lead our business with God. But most entrepreneurs never make that shift. They pray for God to bless their plans instead of asking for his plans to begin with. They invite him into their crisis, but they don't put him on their calendar. And that's why they feel spiritually tired, even when business is going good. Here's the mindset flip that you need to make. You're not building for God, you're building with God. That means every decision becomes a conversation, not a calculation. You still plan, strategize, and execute, but you do it with him in the room. So how do you start living that out practically? Well, here's a step. Dedicate the business out loud. Literally speak it. You say, God, this is your company. Use it for your purpose. There's power in verbal surrender. You can also pray before you plan. This is very, very powerful. When you're about to launch something new or you take a risk, you ask, God, is this what you want me to do, or is it just what I want to do? Let peace be your green light, not the pressure of the decision. And lastly, track obedience, not just outcomes. Most business metrics measure performance, but not the alignment. Start evaluating your success by how well you listened and you obeyed, not just by your revenue or your reach. Because here's what happens when you lead as a steward and not as an owner. Pressure turns into peace, control turns into confidence, and fear turns into freedom. But now that once you made that shift from ownership to stewardship, something amazing starts to happen. You start to experience what I call the overflow principle. That's when profit becomes more than personal success. It becomes kingdom fuel. Let's unpack how that works. Once you settled the ownership question, once you realize the business belongs to God and you're simply managing what's his, you start to see money differently. It's not just profit anymore, it's potential. See, money isn't the mission, it's the multiplier of your mission. It's the resource that God used to expand your reach, impact lives, and build things that are going to outlast you. But here's the catch. If your vision stops with you, your growth will too. Because God doesn't bless accumulation. He blesses the assignment that he gave you. That's why some entrepreneurs plateau right after a big breakthrough. They think the blessing was for them to enjoy, when in reality, it was a test to see what they do with the overflow of that. And here's what I mean. When God sees that he can get resources through you, not just to you, he keeps sending you more. I'm a firm believer of this. The overflow isn't just what you get after the bills are paid. It's what God entrusts you to once your heart has aligned with his purpose. And here's proof of that. In Luke 16, 10, and 11, Jesus says it very clearly. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And if you have not been trustworthy with worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? That verse isn't about greed. It's about stewardship. He's saying, show me what you do with little, and I'll show you what I can do with a lot. When you treat profit as purpose fuel, when you use money to serve your mission, God opens doors that hustle never could. Because when your why gets bigger than your wallet, your business becomes unstoppable. And here's what that looks like in practice. Build giving into your business model. Don't wait for someday to start becoming generous. Tithe from your business income today. Sponsor a ministry. Create margin for generosity in your cash flow. Also, let impact define your growth. Instead of just tracking revenue goals, track redemptive goals. How many lives are being changed because of what you offer? How much peace, confidence, or freedom are your clients gaining because of you? That fruit will always outlast the finance. And number 3, see success as a stewardship cycle. God blesses it. You manage it. You multiply it. You give, and God blesses it all over again. That's the rhythm of overflow. It's not about guilt. It's about gratitude. The more you release, the more God can refill. And when you live this way, business stops feeling like pressure and it starts feeling like purpose. You wake up knowing that what you're building matters. You see your profit not as a scoreboard, but as a seed fund, something God can use to grow impact beyond your imagination. Because here's the truth. Money is a terrible master, but is a very, very, very powerful servant. And when you align it under God's authority, it becomes a tool for kingdom multiplication. That's when you stop asking, how much can I make? And you start asking, how much good can I do? When your focus shifts from accumulation to assignment, God trusts you with more, not because you need it, but because he knows you're going to use it. That's what real success looks like. Not building wealth that fades, but building impact that lasts forever. So if your business has felt heavy, if you've ever wondered whether it's possible to honor God and still pursue growth, remember this. It's not about choosing between faith and finance. It's about putting them in the right order. When God is first and the money follows, your business grows with both peace and with purpose. If this message hit home with you, then your next step is simple. Watch the next video on the screen right now. This is the 3 hidden growth levers that solve every small business pain point. The video will help you take everything we just talked about, purpose, stewardship, and focus, and turn it into practical growth strategies that help you take control of your money, reclaim your time, and create momentum without working harder. And if you want a simple guide to help you keep your focus and your faith aligned, you can grab my free resource, The 12 Laws of Faith-Driven Success. Use the link in the description below.